I haven't picked a scout yet. Some of you may notice, I know Malachi already did, there's a video on my phone happening right now. I want you guys to all wave to the camera.
Hi! Whoever you are.
Now have a seat.
We're on the news.
Have a seat back in your spot.
Let's go. We landed.
3, 2, 1.
I am here.
Anakin. So now you got all of your performance out, okay? You're gonna totally ignore the camera. Okay? Now you just spent some time talking with your partner, retelling some of the events in one plastic bag. Who can read our I can statement for us? Naomi, I saw you first.
I can provide a summary of my reading because it helps me explain it to others.
All right, so that's what we're going to work on today, summary. I did not pick a scout though. So, remember from yesterday we talked about what's working well with the scouts and what's not working well.
What did we decide?
So we felt that the scouts were really paying good attention.
Okay.
But sometimes maybe we want to make sure that the scout can see everyone and looks for, Naomi, can you tell Miss Olivia what your suggestion was? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, and looks for what, things about what people are usually like, and if they made an improvement a lot, then you can give them a call anyway. Or you can give them a call, even if they're not as good as somebody else.
Because if you see improvement, good. I love it.
So sometimes we're not looking for perfect behavior, but improved behavior. Kaylin, what do you want to add?
So the scout can see everybody. Maybe they should sit on the stool.
No.
Or maybe you could have like a
My
swimming,
stool.
like a lifeguard.
Still, they can see everybody.
We'll put their chair in a good spot today so they can see everybody.
Yeah?
Another thing is, we should be able to see if people are reading, because if we're way over there, we can only see the back of their head.
So maybe on the side.
Maybe on the
Yeah,
side.
except then we can't read.
Well, you can sort of see their cheeks.
If you go right
We'll
here,
keep problem solving around.
Yeah, we'll keep problem
We'll get
solving. Abram, have you been scout yet?
No.
All right, you are scout today. I picked Sean and Jacob, but I know each of them have been scout before.
So Abram, come over here. I think this would be a good spot. We'll try today. This way he can see everybody, but he can still read, but he can see if people are following him.
All right. So today we're going to talk about summary, right? And Miss Olivia and I were noticing that it is tough to do a summary that's not a retell, right? Because what's the difference between summary and retell? Turn and talk. What's the difference between summary and
one or two
All right, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, what's the difference? Oh, voice is quiet. Now I counted down. What's the difference between summary and retell, Dawson?
That summary is only one sentence and retell is telling you the whole thing.
Yep. Naomi, what do you want to add?
A summary only has the most important details, and a retell has a lot of details, and it's easier to fit a lot of details.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when I asked you to turn and talk to your partner and talk about the events that happened in the book, did you mostly summarize or retell? Give me a thumbs up if you felt like you summarized. Give me a thumbs up if you felt like you were retelling. Some of you don't have thumbs up.
Some of us are unsure.
Unsure, undecided. That's okay. That I didn't tell you to retell or summarize, so there wasn't a wrong way to do it.
Well,
I just asked you guys to talk about the events in the book. Okay? So, a summary. We made this anchor chart to help us figure out how to put together a summary, which is about 1 or 2 sentences. It includes the main idea, or in the topic of nonfiction, or in nonfiction, the topic. Can you keep your hands quiet? Only important key details. I think that's what Naomi mentioned. And it uses keywords and your words. Okay? It's a little bit different for nonfiction versus fiction. Why would it maybe be different between the two? Try to talk to your partners. Why would it be different for each of these?
But it's like fiction and non-fiction is
1, 0. That countdown was a little bit better. Malachi, what do you think?
I think it's because they don't have a lot of things in common with each other.
Yeah? Diane.
Well, I think maybe because, well, a lot of times fiction has well, they have characters, usually more characters or in a setting, but in nonfiction, usually it describes one thing, and they do have like a problem and solution, but it's more like you'll recognize it more than in fiction you probably would than in nonfiction.
Naomi.
In nonfiction, a lot of times it's just telling you facts instead of like a story. And with fiction, it's almost always a story.
Yep. So we put separate columns for each, like a T-chart, right? Nonfiction, you're going to talk about the main idea and have probably a sentence explaining some of the key details. We'll talk about this more as we read nonfiction in the next couple of weeks. Fiction, your summaries are going to touch on the characters and the setting and the problem and solution. For example, I'm going to model, I haven't thought about what the summary for Zora Hurston and the Chinaberry Tree was, so I'm going to model my thinking and give you an example of what a summary might sound like for fiction. So I know that I want to talk about Zora Hurston and her home, right, because that's where it takes place. I think it was in the South, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the South.
I think so.
And I think the problem, I think one of the main problems was she really wanted to do things that weren't very typical for ladies. She wanted to do a lot of the boy things, right? She had a conflict with her dad about that.
Her mom didn't care.
But then her mom, she had a nice talk with her mom about how she should be herself. So the solution with that was she decided to just be herself. And if she wanted to climb the Chinaberry tree, even though it was a boy kind of thing, she was going to climb it. So that's my thinking. How do I put that into a summary of 1 or 2 sentences? I would say Zora Hurston grew up in the South where girls were expected to act a certain way. That certain way didn't fit for her. So she decided to just be herself. That's 2 sentences. Sometimes you may need 2 sentences and it's not a perfect summary. But turn and talk. What did you notice about my summary?
Yeah, she only told the big ideas that were really important to the main idea. Yeah, and the main idea narrative, but not the like details like
She's a hero when she climbed the tree.
or
Alright.
Oh, there was this big cranberry tree on top of the
1-0. What did you, I'm gonna pick sticks. What did you notice about my summary? Abram.
Well, I noticed that you used you used what actually happened. You didn't use super small details.
Landon.
That you only had 2 sentences. That you didn't have all of the
Jerome.
I noticed that you were saying a lot of big details in your detail. And it felt, to me, it felt more like you were actually telling the story than actually just saying little bits of things.
Jacob, what did you notice about my summary?
she used bigs for the ghost to eat.
Diane.
Well, so did you use the nonfiction or the fiction?
I
But,
used fiction.
but isn't a biography like nonfiction? I don't understand. I think the nonfiction.
Good
Yeah,
question.
yeah, so Diane, that is a big question. I think the format, how the Zora Hurston story is written in a fictional way. It tells a story, it has characters and setting and other qualities of a fiction story. So if it were told to us more like, remember Ruby Bridges, where we read those 2 cards about her?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We would maybe give a summary of that in a nonfiction way, so it was more like a news story. This was written in more of a story way, right? We know she's real and that this actually happened, but it could just be a story about a girl, right?
Yeah. I kind of think. I kind of think that sometimes maybe you should put like a problem and solution under the nonfiction, because like if it's like talking about maybe for instance sea turtles, and the problem would be maybe that people are littering and it gets caught in their fit. Oh.
That would be the main idea of that, right? I am switching it though. Fiction or narrative. We talked about how narratives could be nonfiction. They could be real stories, but they usually have a problem and solution, characters, and the setting, like the narratives you told. Even if it was true, you had a lot of these parts of it. So Diane, thank you, because you're right. I needed to change this more to narrative. Okay? But in the situation of the sea turtles, there is a problem, but that might be the main idea. Okay? All right. So I modeled a summary from last week's. Now let's spend some time reviewing the one plastic bag, and as I flip through the pages, I want you to think about your summary. What would be the characters and setting, the problem solution, the big ideas? Because in a summary, we do big ideas, not small details. Okay? So, and you know, because you read this once with the sub and once all together, we may not reread it much today, but we're just going to kind of look and review in our minds, thinking about what were the big parts, big ideas, right? So we start off with she's walking. In a retell, you might say how her bag broke. Then you're introduced to the goats. And the use of a bag.
And her grandmother.
And her grandmother. Now Lisa 2 grows into a woman, right? Talk about her childhood.
And she had a baby.
And here's the butcher talking about the goats eating the bags.
That's the grandma, isn't it?
There was, oh, sorry. There was
That's
the butcher.
But the butcher is like the grandma. The grandma.
How did that compare to the mom?
Your eyes should be up, looking at them. Wait a minute.
She picked all that plastic up. How did it fit in her bag?
I don't know that she put it all in her bag. Now our friends are helping, they're crocheting.
They're showing you.
The other person. Into his hand, right? So, turn and talk with your partners. Problem solve. What do you think the summary would be for the plastic bags? Turn and talk.
Just okay, so one person, then a whole bunch of other groups thought that was so they did the same. So I think my friends shout out a way to use a plastic bag and make their home beautiful by making the plastic into something else.
First, go to your sentence. So that's kind of the theme, right? A big idea. Problem solution. So character,
It's hard to cut it down. Sometimes you have to get out like 2 or 3 and then try it. It's hard.
But yeah, maybe. Do you think
All
that
right.
was kind of like that?
So, one thing I want to reflect on, something I heard is I heard a lot of you talking about the theme or author's message of recycling and cleaning up after yourself. And that's a very important part. But remember, with the retell, we're focused, or with the summary, we're focusing on character setting, their problem, and how they solve it. Okay? Naomi, are you going to tell us the summary? Okay, go ahead.
Ishak grew up in a place where people were littering plastic bags a lot, and so she and her friends recycled them by pushing them into plastic bags, and that made her home more people.
Dan.
When we were in Kale, we weren't really sure if we used too many details, but well, so there was litter all over, and Satu saw that, and she saw how ugly her home was. So she and her friends found out a way to get rid of them, but not like really like completely get rid of them, just recycle them.
Okay. So, everybody, who are the characters?
Grandmother and a child.
Okay.
And child.
So, and I hear grandmother and child, but I think the main characters would be Isatu and her friends.
Well, what about grandma? She
For the summary.
really did.
No, maybe for a retail. Maybe for a retail, but not a summary.
I think for this, because Isatu and her friends are the ones that really solved the problem, you're right that the grandma was a big part of it in identifying what the problem was. But let's stick with Isatu and her friends. And what's the setting? A place full of garbage and litter.
Or Gambia.
Or Gambia. Yep, or Gambia. Malachi, sit up, please. Malachi, sit up, please. What's the problem?
That they all the plastic bags.
Bags are everywhere, and it's killing the goats.
Plastic bags.
And it was and you couldn't.
What I
Plastic
hear,
bags all over the
Introducing
place.
thank you for your input. What I heard was there's plastic bags everywhere, It's hurting the goats. A lot of littering. What's the solution? What do they do to solve it? Kaylin.
They turn the plastic bags into purses and bags.
Yep. So, Issa 2 and her friends live in a place where there's a lot of litter and garbage. And to solve the problem, they reuse the plastic bags and make them into purses. Okay? I'm going to write that summary as well, first give me a thumbs up. Do you think that's a good summary? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. It's okay to be sideways. Maybe it's not perfect.
I'm in the middle of sideways and up.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to revise it? Is there something Miss
Yeah.
Keith left out or something you'd add from the side or down?
What would you guys change? Turn and talk to your partner. What might you change about what we were saying?
I would do summary
Because she's not, Grandma's not going to have to go. She probably wouldn't have done anything.
Or were you a thumbs up? You thought that was pretty good.
All right. 3,
I think it's important we
2,
have
1, 0.
that part was
I heard some people say, I just liked my summary better. That's okay.
Wow.
You both said that.
Yeah, we said that.
Okay, so what do you think is important for us to add or change about the summary I just said? Anyone?
Well, we talked over here about how we thought adding the goats was important because if the goats weren't dying, maybe the problem wouldn't have been big enough for them to try to create a solution. If it were just littering, maybe it wouldn't have made change, but because the goats were dying,
Yeah.
It would keep happening, they just keep noticing it.
Yeah.
maybe.
Sean, what do you want to add? And then we got to go to the scout. Everybody listen as others share.
Well, I would like to keep Grandma in there because if Grandma wasn't in there, she probably wouldn't have done it because since Grandma owned the goats, then she probably wouldn't have a problem then.
It wouldn't be as personal.
Yeah.
I like that, Chisachi. That's what I'm thinking we need. All right, Scout. Abram, who are you giving the pause to and why? Do it quickly. We gotta go to music.
I'm giving one to Sean because I'm giving one of them to Sean because he was talking to his when training and talking. He was talking to his partner and he was listening to what you said. And then Justin because he was paying attention to the screen.
All right, thank you.
The projection.